Okay, boys and girls, here we are in week 2 of the Intro to Music Production course at Berklee School of Music. Now this week we covered the DAW. Now my assessment for this video this week, I'm going to take a few minutes to go over some of the common editing tasks that I perform when editing an audio file in my DAW. Now this particular session that we have right here is a 30-second radio spot for a local product that I'm doing. Now I'm not going to go over all the editing of the entire session, but simply the voice track, and try to do it in like 5 minutes or so. So let's get started. So right here I have the voice track itself soloed off, and I'm going to delete a couple of these markers that I already had in. And so what I'm going to do now, and this is a raw unedited voice track. Now I think before I got it there was some editing as far as noise removal in the background, but I'm going to do my best to kind of clip this down, find some of the spots that don't necessarily need to be into it, and stick to the script because I have a particular script that I have to go to. So let's take a listen. And what I'm going to do is, as I'm listening, and this, for the record, we're in Adobe Audition right here. That's the DAW we're using. Now the keystroke to make a marker is M, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen through, and any spots that I hear that I feel need edited out, I'm going to mark with a marker so I can go back for later reference. So here we go.
It's new. It's delicious. It's a joke.
There's one.
It's the soft drink that...
Oh, there's another one.
It's the soft drink that has everyone asking for more. Ken's root beer.
That's weird.
The great tasting...
There's another
Ken's root beer. The great tasting drink in a funny looking bottle. Look for Ken's root beer at your... Ken's root beer at your Kroger store. Your taste buds will thank you.
All right, so here we go. So now I knew that this one was about right here. So we're going to go back.
Look for Ken's root beer at your...
Yep, he hesitated there. There's one.
The great tasting...
Yep. Hesitation there.
Ken's root beer.
That was weird. I don't think I'm going to use that.
Ken's...
Yep, hesitation there.
It's the soft drink that...
Hesitation there. And this is where he makes his comment.
It's a joke.
It is a joke. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to do what's my razor tool. Now this is a common tool that's used in many DAWs. In Logic it's called Blade. I believe it's called Blade in Pro Tools as well. And essentially what this is going to do is act as a razor blade as though this were film, and I'm just going to make a cut right here. I'm going to start making cuts in these areas that I know I need to trim. Like I know right here. Now, I can do one of two things. I can make a cut here and then just select this section and just delete it off. Or if I Command Z, I can go back, and if you hover over the edge, at least in Audition, there's the trimming option right there. So I can trim that off if I choose to do so, but we're going to go ahead and delete that because I'll use the trimming later on. So right here was the section, and here was some hesitation. So I'm going to delete this whole section right here.
For Ken's root beer at your...
Yep, there was some hesitation there, so let's cut that off. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete some of these markers. And I'm going to go back. And by the way, I have this track soloed, which means none of these other tracks, they're all muted essentially. So I'm going to go back and make sure that this kind of flows well.
It's new. It's delicious. It's the soft drink that has everyone asking for more.
All right.
Ken's root beer, the great tasting drink in a funny looking bottle. Look for Ken's root beer at your Kroger store. Your taste buds will thank you.
All right, good. So there we go. There we have it. Now, what I'm going to do to some of these, now, as you can see right here, like here's some crossfades. Now, that would only work if I actually needed to slide these together. I have snapping turned off, which if I did, you would see that these would snap to a grid to each other like that. But we have that turned off. If I were to move these into each other and kind of merge them, they would crossfade. I don't necessarily want to do that because I'm trying to follow a script, but what I do want to do is if I select a couple of these, I can, at least in Audition, these are your fade in values, which you can slide up and down and drag over to fade in and fade out. And it's designated by these yellow lines. Now you can see that on some of these other effects that I've done, like the crossfade is right here where I have merged this, and this is actually a music track. So
here, the great.
Let's unsolo that. That kind of just repeats over and over, but those are crossfaded into each other because the music track wasn't long enough to cover the entire length of the commercial. So I had to repeat sections and then crossfade them so there wasn't any popping. Whoops. Undo. So let's go back to this. Let's do a couple fades here. Let's fade it in. Fade it out. We're going to trim this up. Trim this up. Do a couple fades. Now, I'm going to put these at the point where I know that they're about supposed to be. And about right here. So let's unsolo this and hear what it sounds like.
It's new. It's delicious. It's the soft drink that has everyone asking for more. Ken's Root Beer, the great tasting drink in a funny looking bottle. Look for Ken's Root Beer at your Kroger store. Your taste buds will thank you.
Now, that's a general idea. I need to adjust these a little more on their placement so there's not as much blank space in between it, but you get the general idea of what's happening here. I was able to trim this, add some fades, and take out some of the unnecessary stuff and still add it into the rest of the effect. And that's kind of what I wanted to cover in 5 minutes is how to basically take one audio file and trim it down, clean it up a little bit, and be able to manipulate it a little bit in the DAW. And if need be, I can go into more detail later on. But that's it. Thanks for watching.